Ushiro Geri Back kick. So today I'm going to give you some ideas on how to improve your Ushiro Geri, or if you're new to the kick, maybe you can learn the kick from this video and sort of take it away and work yourself. So the first thing, or one of the most important things I think about back kick, is that we must keep the knees close together. Okay? If I start letting the knee flare out to the side or anything like this, it then becomes a side kick. It's no longer a back kick as an Ushiro Geri. It's no longer an Ushiro Geri. Okay, so what I want to think about from here is tucking my heel close to my bum. All right, so by squeezing the hamstrings from here, tuck the heel, tilt the hips backwards, and drive behind. I want to return the kick as if I'm going to do another one. So I'm here, tuck, deliver, and come back. Okay, so we can start off by just statically working the kick rather than with the spin as normal. So I'll be here, tuck the heel up. I don't really like this one because we're using a different muscle set. This is then using the hip flexors to send into another kick. In my opinion, I think it's a waste of time. We're not progressing towards the target any quicker. We're wasting time by coming this way. So, like I always say, this is only my ideas. This is how I like to do it. So, tuck the heel from here, send the hip back into the target and down. Tuck the heel, just a glance over the shoulder. I've not got to turn my head too much because then this puts too much twist on the spine and changes the path of the kick. Tuck the heel, look over the shoulder. I can see behind me and I can just drive straight back with the heel and come back in, please. So what we can do from here then is we have a target behind us. We have the kick shield. I can line myself up, get in position, sit down into your stance from here, into the knees, tuck the heel and just work on delivering back into the pad. Lift, drive. So the power comes from this drive back into the target. Heel comes up, send the hip this way. Lift and send. And again, like I said, as if we're going to do another. So I deliver the kick and I come back to here afterwards. Okay. So next we're going to move on to delivering a kick from my spinning position. And we're going to come over to these belts and I'll show you the next exercise. So one exercise I like to teach for those that are newer to the kick is to have these two belts lined up down here. I'll bring my front foot across to the outside one. So what I'm doing is I'm imagining I've got lines coming off the edge of the pad. I'm taking my front foot to the opposite line, which is illustrated here by this belt. So now what happens is my back foot is lined up with the target. Okay, so I come across here, hands are up. I come across, my back foot is now lined up. So as long as I spin and I keep my knees together, I'm going to land on the target every time. Okay, so again, I'll start from here. This is, as I say, a very basic exercise. I'm starting this way. Place the foot across to line up this back leg with the target there. I spin on the spot and I must keep my knees together now to send into the target. Okay. If I let the knees flare out, however, then I've lost that position. So I must make sure that I keep my my back foot and my knees, together. One, as I spin, my knees close and stay together. Rotate from the hip and into the target this way. So obviously that has a little bit of a telegraph in that instance. You're stepping across and lining that foot up. However, this is just a basic exercise in order to teach the student how to line the back leg up with the target. In reality, I'll find that line in my movement. You know, maybe I'll come in and I'll set myself up this way. Or I'll slide back defensively and go into the target this way. So the next step then from there is to lose the front foot across. Okay, so we'll just start from more of a sort of an inline stance here. So I'm working from this way, and now the idea is to fire the hips around into the target. So just line that there for me, please. So it's just a fast rotation this way. Okay, so now what we're doing is we've taken it from the kind of more basic exercise, lining up that foot, rotating and sending. We're now getting our stance set in the first place here, more in line than we would normally go, and I'm just going to fire from the hip into the target this way. So it's important to rechamber the kick afterwards as well. I like to think about, or the way our teachers, I like to say that we have to return the kick as if we're going to do another one. Okay, so I return the kick to the same position that I delivered it from. So as I've come across here and I've made my Ushiro Geri, I want to put it back to this position as if I'm going to do another. Okay, so the rechamber position should look the same as the chamber in the first place. So from here, again, I'm lining that foot up. The idea now then, in this more kind of advanced method of doing the kick, is to fire the hip round, lead with the hip, this way. You ready? Okay, so it's a fast rotation from there. That's where we're trying to initiate the kick from. And as a result, then try to eliminate any telegraph. Okay? There are occasions in Kumite where you could lead with that front foot anyway. You know, you could be here, you could be working, you could step across and send the kick in from there. If it's disguised in the movement, then it's not such a big deal. You know, the telegraph can be kind of disguised. As we're working and exchanging techniques, I can slip that foot across and send straight away from there. So when we're working these kicks or these techniques, I want to start off slowly always. You know, speed kills technique. So we want to think about slowly lining that foot up. Am I in the right position right now? Am I initiating from the correct place? From the hip. Break the movements down. Initiate from the hip and deliver. Okay? The contact point is the heel. So I want to try and keep my foot facing downwards as I land this kick. Keeping the knees together takes care of that. If I spin here and knees are apart, I've got no idea where that kick's going to go. Okay? So it's not a turning side kick, it's a back kick. This way here, I'm coming from underneath my body and sending the kick backwards. So from here, again, like I say, slowly set yourself up for the moment. I'm seeing the target in my peripheral vision. I don't have to send my head all the way around this way, because again, that's going to send my kick off somewhere else. I know where they are now. If I spin fast, they're still there. Okay? If I spin quick, you ready? They're still there. Okay? So from here, I know he's there. I know he's there. So I can spin quick, and he's still going to be there when I get round. Getting whipped.